Namaste, welcome. Today's session is going to be a fairly all-round workout, although we will concentrate slightly on some postures that will exercise the core muscles. But to start with, we'll do some rotations to get warmed up. So let's just start by bringing the feet close together and raising the arms as you come up onto the balls of the feet, dropping the arms or the hands down towards the shoulders, lifting the elbows, lowering down, taking the arms out to the sides, trying to lower the heels slowly to the floor, stretching up, dropping the hands to the shoulders, lowering back down. Just keep your eyes fixed on a stationary point a few yards in front to help with the balance. One more time, stretching up. Maybe let's just raise the arms straight up this time, palms facing, holding the lift, and then lowering back down. And then shaking the arms out, ragdoll arms, ragdoll hands. Shake the right leg, shake the left leg. And then we can roll the shoulders a few times, nice wide circles. Can always go nice and slowly and carefully to start with if you're at all concerned about neck muscles or shoulder muscles, feeling out the shoulders, just seeing what they're feeling capable of this morning. Going the other way. And then swinging the arms around in circles. Again, you could go nice and slowly, or if it's feeling good, speeding up, keeping the hands relaxed. And going the other way. And then we can do the left side. Just easing the muscles out. Okay, and then we can bring the hands onto the lower back or the waist, and we'll do some circles around the base of the spine. And going the other way. And then taking the hips in circles, keeping the legs fairly straight, shoulders over the feet. And the other way. And then put the weight onto the left foot, take the right foot behind, and we can work the knee in circles, trying to get a nice loose sensation around the hip joint. And go the other way. And to the other side, standing on the right foot, taking the left behind. And kind of shaking out the muscles around the hip joints. Okay, and we'll do some side stretches. So again, maybe hips width apart. And then raising the right arm, stretching over to the left. Bringing the right hand down, raising the left arm, stretching over to the right. Raising the right arm, stretching over to the left. Raising the left arm, stretching over to the right. And then raising both hands. Could try bringing the palms together or keep the arms parallel and stretch over to the left. Pushing through both arms as we come back to the centre, over to the other side. So as though you're trying to stretch both sides of the rib cage. And down. So then coming to the front of your mats. We'll come into Tadasana. So bringing the feet together, arms by the sides. So we could have the feet, actually let's have the feet slightly wider. So underneath your hip creases, feet parallel, and sense that the weight is evenly distributed between the 2 feet. If you want, you can move a little bit from side to side and then come back to the centre. So equal weight down through each foot. You could try moving forwards and backwards, slightly taking the weight from the heels to the balls of the feet and then come back to the centre. Feeling equal pressure through the balls of the big toes and the little toes and the heels. You could try lifting and spreading all the toes and then laying them back down. And engaging the leg muscles so we can lift the kneecaps to engage the quadriceps. But also thinking about engaging the hamstrings down the backs of the legs. And then feel as though you're just trying to push the feet apart from each other and engage the muscles down the outsides of the legs. Feeling out from the knees in particular up to the hip points. And then go the other way, as though you're trying to bring the feet a little bit closer to each other, engaging the muscles down the inner thighs. And then pushing the feet slightly apart, engaging the muscles up the outsides of the legs. And pushing the feet slightly towards each other again, feeling the engagement of the muscles up the insides of the legs. And then come back to the midpoint and see if you can sort of voluntarily engage the muscles down the inner thighs and up the outsides of the legs at the same time, and the quadricep muscles and the hamstrings. So you're aware of the whole of each leg, all the muscles engaged. It can be just a light engagement, so it's not fierce gripping, a light engagement so you can feel all the muscles are active and the feet feel active. And then let's stretch the arms up. If it's comfortable, for your hands, interlink the fingers, turn the palms face up, or you could keep the arms and parallel with the palms facing. But rather than lifting the sternum, think about drawing in on the lower ribs. So drawing in here. And also thinking about bringing the hip points towards each other. And this is engaging the transverse abdominis muscles, the ones that corset the torso. Maintaining awareness of the toning of the muscles of the legs, active feet, tailbone lengthening down, and then releasing the arms back down. And then we'll come into a few half forward bends. So once more, inhaling, raising the arms, and then folding forwards, pivoting from the hips, keeping the torso straight to begin with, And then releasing down, we can bend the knees just to get the fingertips at least to the floor. Upper body comes down, head down. And then inhale, half forward bend. So some might be able to keep the fingertips on the floor, or you can bring the hands up to the shins. Imagining the spine lengthening forwards. Exhaling, folding forwards once more, allowing the knees to bend as you need. And then coming all the way up, and keep the knees slightly bent as you come up. Keeping the back nice and straight so it pivots up from the hips. And then stretching up and bring the hands back down. So this time as we breathe in and lift up, we can open the chest and come into a slight upper back bend. And then fold forwards. Bending the knees as needed. Inhaling half forward bend. Exhaling full forward bend. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhaling, hands back to the centre. One more time, and then moving through a slow sun salutation. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, folding forwards. And then we'll step back with the right foot. And we'll put the right knee down. You can point the toes. And bring the hands up onto the knees. You can support the body here, or you could raise the arms. And then hands down, step back to downward facing dog. Pause here a moment just to get the feel of the posture. Check the positioning of the feet, make sure they're not too far apart. About hips width. And once more we think about engaging the transverse abdominis muscle. So imagine that you're pulling in on the lower ribs and imagining that the hip points are moving towards each other, corseting the torso. And keep the knees a bit bent. And then we come forwards to a plank position. And we'll put the knees down, so we come into a half plank. We'll just think about the position of the arms and the shoulders and the hands. So you might need to turn the hands out slightly so that the hip creases are parallel to the front of the mat. We want to have the hands active as well, so spread the fingers as far as is comfortable, and then just pull the little finger and the thumb of each hand towards each other to create a bit of tension between them. Maybe press down lightly through the pads of the fingertips. And then turn the upper arms, or the arms, so the inner elbows are more or less pointing between the thumb and the forefinger. And then check where the shoulder blades are. They want to be moving down the back and slightly away from each other as you push down through the hands, almost hunching the back slightly so that the shoulder blades move away from each other. Bring the weight forward so the shoulders, well, so you can feel the weight evenly across the palms of each hand. And then you could just try for a breath or two, holding the upper body exactly where it is, but then lifting the knees and pushing away through the heels. Strengthening the legs once more, inner thighs are rotating upwards. And then lowering the knees, point the toes, and push through to an upward facing dog. Keeping the knees on the floor. Bring the shoulders back. And then push back through all fours to downward facing dog. The hands are staying exactly where they are. And then lifting the right leg step forwards to the right hand. You can again lower the left knee, point the toe, bring the hands up to the front knee, upright lunge posture, stay here for support or raise the arms. And then stepping forwards, head comes down, and then coming all the way up, straight spine, raising the arms, stretching up and bring the hands back down. So we'll repeat that on the left side. We'll come back to our starting position, Tadasana. We're engaging the leg muscles, engaging the transverse abdominis muscle, and then raising the arms, stretching up, folding forwards, stepping back, left foot, bring the knee down, point the foot, hands to the front knee, raising the arms, hands down, step back, down dog. Once more, coming forward to the plank, so you've got the choice here. You can bring the knee straight down and hold the plank for a half plank for a few breaths, or you can maintain the full plank. You start to see that the weight's actually coming so that the shoulders are slightly forwards of the heels of the hands. And again, press down through the hands to push the upper body upwards. Strengthen the legs, engage the abdominal muscles. And then we bring the knees down, come through to upward facing dog. Push back, downward facing dog. And then lifting the left leg, step forwards to the left hand, right knee down. Come up onto the knee, maybe raise the arms, step forwards, head down, lift up on an inhalation, hands back down, and we'll finish back in Tadasana. And then releasing, shake out. Okay, and then back to the front of the mats. Inhaling as we lift up, exhaling as we fold forwards. Inhaling as we step back with the right foot once more. We can put the right knee down. And once more, coming up into a raised position. This time we can hold this a bit longer. Feel the hips moving forwards and down, trying to keep them square to the front of the mat. And then keeping the left arm raised, bring the right hand down onto the floor, or it could be onto a brick, and turn to face to the left. So a nice twist, opening across the chest, looking to the side or looking up past the thumb to the ceiling. And then lifting the arms, the torso, so the arms are horizontal, palms facing to the side. And if you want that little extra effort, you can tuck the back foot under and straighten out the back leg. Stretch the feet away from each other. And then coming back to face the front, back to the lunge. And we'll come into a side plank. So think about the supporting hand and arm and shoulder. It's still the same as if you were in the full plank. So you've got the choice here of a knee down version, in which case you might want to bring the right knee a bit further forwards. And then the weight's going into the right hand and the left foot comes behind. Or you could do the full version, in which case you come onto the side of the back foot, of the right foot that is, and we come into a side plank. So think about the arm rotating outwards, strong hand. Still engaging your transverse abdominal muscles. And then bring the left hand back down, back to all fours. Push towards an upward facing dog. Push back to downward facing dog. And then we'll do that on the other side. So lift the right leg and step forwards to the right hand. Put the left knee down. Lifting up to a raised runner. Allowing the muscles of the left thigh to stretch out as the left hip is moving forwards and down. And then keeping the right arm raised, bring the left hand down. Turns face to the right. And then bringing both arms to horizontal, palms facing to the side. And for the extra work, you can always tuck the left toes, straighten out the left leg. And then bring the hands back to the front, back into the lunge. And then we'll do the side plank on the other side. Move the left hand a little bit forwards. Again, spreading the fingers, a little bit of pulling between the little finger and the thumb. Keeping the arm outward rotation slightly. Engage the left shoulder blade onto the back of the rib cage. And then we can keep the left knee on the floor or straighten that up. They come onto the side of the foot. Both legs together. And once more, bringing the hip points towards each other, the lower ribs towards each other. And then back to a plank, and bring the knee straight down. Upward facing dog. And this time push back to a child posture. And use the child posture to slow the breath, bring the heart rate down again. So you can keep the arms stretched out or bring them back alongside the body to the feet. Slow, deep breaths. And then we come up onto all fours and we'll lower down into a prone position. Bring the forearms to the floor, elbows under the shoulders, Sphinx posture, gently drawing back on the floor with the hands, fitting the shoulder blades, clamping to the backs of the rib cage. And then stretching the arms out. Palms face down, pressing lightly down through the palms, looking forwards, and lifting the right hand with the left leg, pointing through the ball of the left foot, and lowering, and then left hand, right leg, and lowering, right hand, left leg, and lowering, left hand, right leg. One more time to each side. Right hand, left leg. Left hand, right leg. And then both arms, both legs. See if you can hold this for 2 or 3 breaths. And then we can bring the hands back onto the shoulders and push back once more to a child posture. Feel the front of the body stretching forwards over the upper legs. And then we come up through all fours, downward facing dog. And then walking the hands back towards the feet, bending the knees as you go. And then we can slowly uncurl this time, keeping the head down, back up to standing, and then shaking out. And coming to face the long edge of the mat. So we're going to come into a balanced posture, Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So you might want to do this next to a wall. So we're going to begin standing on the left leg, so you might want the left side of the body next to a wall, so you can just lightly touch the wall with your fingertips, just helps with the balance. Try not to lean into the wall. So beginning in Tadasana, and then lifting the right knee as high as you can, and then reaching forwards, bringing the hands, interlinking the fingers around the top of the shin. So try not to lean forward, try and keep the upright position, again keeping the abdominal muscles engaged, the transverse abdominis corseting the torso, and squeezing that right knee in. Standing legs nice and strong, and then taking the knee out to the side. Back to the centre. Bring the hands under the knee and start to stretch the leg out as far as it wants to go. And then see if you can engage the muscles needed to hold the leg where it is, and just hold for a second or two before lowering the foot back down. Come back into Tadasana. Just feel how the body feels, how the weight feels from one foot to the other. And then we'll do the other side. So once more, keeping the body upright as you lift the left knee now as high as you can, before reaching out, clasping the shin, pulling the knee in toward the side of the chest, pressing down a bit through the right foot, engaging the core muscles, and then we can try taking the knee out to the left. Back to the centre, bring the hands under the knee, start to straighten the knee out, the leg out, and then see if you can hold that for a second or two before lowering. And then we come, we'll come into a triangle posture. I think that's why we'll do that first. So we'll take the feet a little bit wider than, it's about one leg's length. Bring the hands onto the hips, and we'll turn the right foot out to the right, push the left heel out a little bit. Just check that the hips are feeling nice and loose. And then we'll place the right hand onto the right thigh and we'll lift the left arm vertically. And then take an inhalation, and as you breathe out, sliding the right hand down the leg, the left arm is staying parallel to the neck and coming over and forwards. Going as far as you feel you're able to without collapsing the right side. And then imagine that the right side of the rib cage is moving forwards as well as the left. Keeping the left shoulder rotating back. And then you can bend the front knee to ease the body back up. And we'll do the other side. Feet parallel to the front, and then rotate. The left foot to the side, push the right heel out. Raise the right arm, left hand onto the top of the left thigh. Take an inhalation, and then as you breathe out, pushing the left hand down the leg, bringing the right arm over. So some people may just get to this point, some people may go further. Try and keep space between the upper arm and the neck. Can always rotate the head to look up if the balance is there. And then bend the front left knee a little bit to help you back up. And we'll come into side angle posture, Parsvakonasana, for which you might want to take the feet a bit further apart. The goal on this posture is to have the feet roughly where the hands are in terms of width, but we move towards that in stages. So we'll turn the feet to the right, push the left heel out, bend the front knee. You can bring the right forearm onto that upper leg. If you've got a brick, you could always bring the hand down onto the brick. Some might reach the floor. And bring the left arm up and over and forwards. Once more, rotating the upper body, taking the left shoulder back, right shoulder forwards. And again, thinking about the transverse abdominal muscles, pulling the lower ribs towards each other. And then back to the centre. Take the feet to the left. Bend the left knee. Just check that the left knee is over the heel. Left arm onto the left leg. Raise the right arm and then bring it forwards. And again, try and keep some space between the upper arm and the neck. Engaging the corseting muscles of the torso. Keeping the tailbone lengthening down towards the back foot. And then swinging back up. And then we'll step back to the front of the mats. Taking an inhalation to stretch up. Exhaling, folding forwards. And then we're going to step back to a downward facing dog. And then just pause for a moment, bring the knees to the floor. We're going to practice another variation of side angle posture. This one's a little bit stronger. So I'll demonstrate it first, have a look, see if you want to have a go. If you don't, you could repeat the one or other of the versions we did just earlier. So we're doing this one from the downward dog position. So I'm going to start coming over onto my left hand, because I'm a bit restricted in space on my right side. So the weight goes into the left hand, and then I'm turning the left foot over onto its side, and then I'm going to bring the right foot behind me as I lift the right arm. And then I can stay here, stretching between two hands, or I could bring that right arm over, so I want to touch the floor. And press down a bit more through both feet to lift the hip up towards the ceiling into more of a crescent shape. And then I come back, bringing the right hand down, right hand back to the floor, back to downward facing dog. Okay, so we can try that one together if you wish to try this one out. So beginning in downward facing dog, and again we'll go to the left side. So the weight's into the left hand, you're turning the left foot over onto its side, and then bring the right foot up and over onto the floor behind you as you raise the right arm. Press down through the left hand, stretch between both arms. Stay here or bring that arm over as though you want to touch the floor. You're turning the chest more up towards the ceiling. Press down through the feet to lift the hips and the side of the body. And then bring that right hand back down.
Coming back to downward facing dog. You can take a pause in downward facing dog, or rather in a child posture. And then we'll do the other side. So I need to come around and push back up to downward facing dog. And then it's time, weight's going into the right hand, pivot the right foot onto its outer edge, bring the left foot back behind you as you raise the left arm, and maybe bring that hand over towards the floor. Press down through the feet, lift the hips a bit higher, bring the chest more towards the ceiling, and then coming back to downward facing dog. And then bring the knees to the floor, take a rest in child posture. And take the time to allow the breath to slow. Feeling the breath slowing, feeling the mind slowing down. And then when you're ready, lifting back up into a kneeling position, we'll come into Vajrasana, sitting on the heels. If you want, place something behind the knees, a roll blanket's quite nice. Place a roll blanket underneath the feet if you don't like the feet stretching out and you feel a bit too much of a stretch on the ankles. So just beginning with the palms on the knees. And once more corseting the upper body, pulling the lower ribs inwards, thinking of the tailbone lengthening downwards, drawing in on the lower abdomen. And then raising the arms and twisting to your left into a kneeling twist. Coming back to the front, raising the arms, twisting to the right. Back to the front, raising the arms, and then taking the left hand down behind you, will come into a cow-faced position, dropping the right hand, and if the hands don't meet, take hold of the back of your shirt. And we're rotating both arms outwards so the elbows are moving back behind you. Raising both arms, bringing the right hand down. It's an inward rotation this time of the arm. And again, taking hold of the shirt or your fingers, or if you happen to have a strap nearby, you could be using that. And then releasing. And then we'll come into Virasana. We're going to take the feet a bit further apart. We're going to try Supta Virasana. So if you happen to have a bolster handy, you could use this. Or maybe some cushions. We'll see. So sitting down between the heels if you can. Again, if you find this too uncomfortable, you could sit on a cushion, have the cushion between the heels, or if you've got a bolster again, you can actually sit on the end of the bolster. It's quite nice. Otherwise, some sort of cushion or 2 or 3 bricks or blocks. And once more, bringing the palms onto the knees, corseting the abdomen. Breathing into the rib cage.
So then we can come into Supta Virasana. That might just mean bringing the hands behind you and leaning back, or coming down onto the elbows. If you've got something like a bolster, then it's really comfortable to lower down onto the bolster. And then two ways of coming up. You can ease up onto the elbows and then the hands. Or you could try coming up without using the arms. Just stretch the hands forwards, engage the core muscles and lift up. Okay, and then we'll stretch the feet in front. Bounce the knees up and down and extend and flex the feet. And rotate the feet one way then the other. And then we'll come into Dandasana, staff posture. You could be sitting up on a block. Strong legs, feet flexed, pressing down through the knees. Lift the upper body. Again, we're going to engage the transverse abdominal muscles. Thinking about the shoulders rotating back and moving down away from the ears. And then inhale as you raise the arms. Exhale, bring the hands down and starting to fold forwards towards Paschimottanasana. Inhaling, lifting back up to Dandasana and raising the arms. And repeating that a few times. Exhaling, bring the hands down. Moving forward, we'll keep the legs straight, flexing the feet, just maybe seeing if you move a tiny bit further each time. Inhaling, coming back up. Exhaling, folding forwards, holding here. And then you could bend the knees and see whether that helps you to bring the upper body a bit further forwards. And keep the hands on the floor, or you might reach the feet, or if you've got your strap, you could use the strap. Lifting back up to Dandasana. Bring the hands a bit further behind, and we'll bring the feet flat to the floor, come up to a counter pose into the crab position. Press down through the hands to lift the chest, take the shoulders down, press down through the feet to lift the pelvis. Exhaling, coming back down. Inhaling into the upper chest, lifting. Exhaling, coming back down. One more time. Inhaling to come up. Exhaling to come back down. Stretching both legs out. And then just bending the left leg, foot flat to the floor. Take the left hand behind you, we'll come into a twist, so we can bring the right hand onto that knee. Draw the body up first, push away through the right heel, and then rotate the body to the left. Back to the front, change feet around, right foot to the floor, bit of a gap between the foot and the leg. Right hand behind you, draw the body up facing forwards, and then rotate to the right. And back to the front. Stretching both legs out, and last little core exercise, we'll have a go at boat posture. So we can start with an easy boat posture by bending the knees, having the feet flat to the floor, and we can bring the hands behind the knees and just come to a point where you can balance with the feet slightly off the floor. Keeping the chest lifting, and then bring the lower legs up to horizontal. So pointing to the balls of the foot, but flexing the toes back. And then engaging the abdominal muscles and the muscles of the legs to see whether you can release and hold the legs there. Cross the ankles, come forwards to a cross leg position. Take a few deep breaths into the abdomen. And then we'll repeat. So we can do exactly the same, or you can try and take it further by straightening the legs slightly more and then releasing. Otherwise, keep the knees bent and the lower legs parallel to the floor. And then once more, cross at the ankles, come forwards. A few breaths into the abdomen, relaxing the muscles. Last time. You can always keep the hands behind the knees, but just engage those muscles as though you're about to release the legs, or release the arms, the legs, or straighten the legs. And then crossing the ankles, lean forwards. And then bring the feet flat to the floor, and we'll come down into a semi-supine position. And stretch the left leg out, bring the right knee into the chest, Apanasana. Pushing away through the left heel, squeezing the right knee down toward the side of the body. And then stretch the right leg upwards. If you've got a strap, you could use that, but otherwise just bring the hands, interlink the hands behind the leg. And then we'll point through the left foot, take an inhalation and see if you can lift the upper body towards the leg, as though you're trying to bring your nose to the knee. And release back down. Right foot to the floor, left knee into the chest, and then extend the right leg. So repeating that on the left side. Right leg active, pushing away through the right heel, pushing the right knee down towards the floor as you bring the left knee in towards the side of the rib cage. And then hands behind the knee or upper leg, stretching the left foot up towards the ceiling. Taking an inhalation, we'll point through the right foot this time, and then exhaling, bringing the nose up towards, or the forehead up towards the knee. And releasing back down. Stretching both legs out, we'll use Tadaka Mudra to help relax the abdominal muscles. So legs strong again, feet flex, and take the arms up and back behind. If it's comfortable for your hands, interlink the fingers, turn the palms away, or just keep the arms and the hands parallel. So you're pushing away through between the hands and the heels. Take a slow, deep breath in. Exhale all the air out of the body. And then it's a strong Uddiyana Bandha as you hold the breath out, drawing the abdomen down and in until up into the rib cage. And then release. Slow breath in.
long breath out, emptying all the air. And then holding the out breath, drawing the abdomen in and up. Releasing one last time, in your own time. And then we'll bring the hands down, bring both knees into the chest, lining up the body on the mat, and feet to the floor, stretch out the left leg, stretch out the right leg, and we'll come into Shavasana. Feet far enough apart to allow the feet to roll out to the sides. Arms far enough away from the sides of the body so that the hands can comfortably turn upwards. Press down to the head and give the shoulders a bit of a wriggle to get the shoulder blades flat to the floor. And then we'll take one more deep breath in and hold the in-breath. And then slowly breathing out through the lips. Feeling the body relaxing. Feeling the back of the body settling down onto the mat. You can keep the eyes open or close the eyes. Allow all the muscles of the face to relax. Checking that the teeth are apart, space between upper and lower sets of teeth. Tongue is dropping down into the lower jaw. Breath slowing down, body coming to complete stillness, except for those slight movements in the chest and abdomen as you breathe. Awareness of the light touch of breath around the nostrils or on the upper lip. And we'll remain here in Shavasana for a couple of minutes. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just awareness of the body sinking down into the floor. And then even letting go of your awareness of the body. The mind completely still.
and staying in Shavasana for longer if you wish. Otherwise, starting to take some deeper inhalations, some longer exhalations, and bringing movement into the body, into the hands and the feet. Taking the arms up and back behind you and stretching between hands and feet. And then bringing the knees back into the chest and rolling over to one side or the other. Coming back to a seated position for a few moments. So perhaps sitting up on a cushion or a block. And once more, engaging the abdominal muscles, pulling the hip points towards each other, the lower ribs towards each other, sitting nice and tall. Taking some slow Ujjayi breaths into the rib cage. And then bringing the hands together in Anjali Mudra. So thank you very much for attending the session. Namaste.